بلغني عنهم وفيما لم يبلغني. أما بعد، فقد قال سيدنا مولانا الإمام جعفر بن محمد الصادق عليه السلام: لست أحب أن أرى الشباب منكم إلا غاديا في حالين: إما عالما أو متعلما، فإن لم يفعل فرط وضيع، فإن ضيع أثم، وإن أثم سكن النار، والذي بعث محمدا بالحق. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. When we commemorate the martyrdom of Imam Al-Sadiq عليه السلام، أرجو الانتباه من الأخوة حتى الشباب إن شاء الله يستفادون ببركات وجودكم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. When we talk about the martyrdom of Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam, we are mentioning a very great man. A man whose legacy is unfortunately misrepresented or underrepresented. And we will get to that inshallah, but we have to understand the value of knowledge that Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam stresses upon. In the hadith that I just mentioned, Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that I do not like to see the youth of the Shia in other than two states. This is a direct conversation, a direct message from the Imam towards us. He says, I do not like to see the youth of the Shia in other than two states: عالما أو متعلما. Either that he is learning or he is teaching. He says, لست أحب أن أرى الشاب منكم إلا غاديا في حالين. غاديا means daily. Daily, his daily routine, his daily habits. Within this daily routine and habit is either gaining knowledge or teaching it. Within this daily routine. عالما أو متعلما. عليكم السلام. فإن لم يفعل فرط وضيع. If he doesn't do this, he becomes lost. And if he becomes lost, he will transgress against the rules of Allah. And when he does that, he will surely enter the hellfire. And he uses the hilf, a promise, using his grandfather, والذي بعث محمدا بالحق. This shows us that the Imam focuses on knowledge, and the title of tonight's lecture is Imam Al-Sadiq and the culture of knowledge. The culture of knowledge. Imam Al-Sadiq stresses to us that we must integrate knowledge in our daily lives. Now, unfortunately, many cases, the shabab, when it comes to knowledge, religiously, that's a different topic. We all know this religious knowledge that we have to learn on the Day of Judgment will be asked about. In our graves will be asked about. It will be asked about and it will be held accountable. The deeds that you do every day requires knowledge. The salah that you pray, its ahkam requires knowledge. Your akhlaq requires knowledge. Your daily habits, how you cut your fingernails, how you speak, how you eat. All of this requires learning how Ahlul Bayt taught us to do this. That requires knowledge. I'm talking on the knowledge which is not connected to the religious side in an outside general aspect. Many of the youth, they say, I'll become a tradie. I'll become a plumber. I'll become an electrician. And I'll go and I'll start working. I don't need a knowledge and go university or take courses. I don't need to do any of that. I'll work for a bit, study go TAFE, become a tradie and then make money. I don't need to learn knowledge after that. I don't need to gain knowledge after that. That's incorrect. That is not a correct mindset. And especially you have a lot of the shabab, they have this idea of, I want to be an entrepreneur. Yeah? I want to become a businessman. I'm not going to start, oh, you people who go university, you guys are sheep following the 9 to 5 lifestyle. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to become a businessman and I'm going to make money. For the past 5 years, ever since he graduated high school, he's been talking about, I'm going to make money online and I'm not going to do anything. And he's still living and he's still getting his Centrelink payments. Why do you discredit gaining knowledge? Why do you discredit gaining knowledge in all of its fields? I'm not telling you go to university. I'm saying learning in general is crucial. The sciences, economics, politics as well, history. A lot of lessons come from history. This is knowledge that we have to learn. Imam Al-Sadiq, when we'll get into it, Imam Al-Sadiq didn't just teach religious knowledge, halal and haram. Imam Al-Sadiq taught knowledge other than the religious knowledge and influenced those who are now considered pioneers of chemistry, of biology, of geology, of history, of philosophy, of economics, all of that. Those people who are considered pioneers of this field, Imam Al-Sadiq was the teacher of. Why do you discredit knowledge? The problem is we have treated knowledge as a means to an end. What is the end? Money. I'm going to go to university, I'm going to study this course so I can make money. You do not enjoy the knowledge like this. You do not get the satisfaction that a normal student would get. If you would ask the students who study Hausa, these people, because it is not a means to an end, because they're not trying to gain knowledge so they can make money, no. They want to gain knowledge for the sake of gaining knowledge. You see the satisfaction when they gain knowledge. The feeling they have after every time they make a new discovery or they learn something new. With university, you don't get that feeling because for you, in your mind, it's a means to an end. So we have to understand this perspective. Moving on to the second point is that Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam focused on creating a culture that was revolved around knowledge, learning it and spreading this knowledge. And he raised generations to become teachers and scholars within their own right. When we say this number, many people overlook it. When we say that Imam Al-Sadiq had 4,000 students, we are not talking about he spoke with him for half an hour and then that's it. He became a student of Imam Al-Sadiq. No, we are talking about daily learning from Imam Al-Sadiq. 4,000 students. During a time of repress. We have to understand, many people have this, not a misconception, but it's a different way to look at it. That Imam Al-Sadiq, because during his time, it was the end of the Umayyad Empire and the beginning of the Abbasid Caliphate or Empire. That period was a period where Imam Al-Sadiq had freedom. No. On the contrary, the Umayyad Empire is ending. They're very sensitive. The smallest movement, the smallest act of aggression towards them, they'll attack you. So their reputation doesn't fall. They know they're on the end. They know they're on the last string. So they made sure that anyone who posed a threat would be crushed. And then you have the beginning of the Abbasid Empire. The Abbasid Empire, when they want to start, they want to start strong. They want to make sure that no one can step above them, that no one can transgress. So on the contrary, Imam Al-Sadiq was facing two empires who were highly sensitive. But despite that, people come and they leave, around 400 people, or in the hundreds. They say, حدثني جعفر ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq. Also gives us a lesson. There's no excuse in not gaining knowledge. I have uni, I have work, I have family. I respect that, ala rasi. But it doesn't mean you stop yourself from gaining knowledge. You have 24 hours in a day. There's always room for an hour. There's always room for half an hour to gain knowledge. So the Imam made sure that this culture was something that was visible by others. He made sure that people saw the Imam and how he raised these generations of people in knowledge. There is this hadith that mentions a man from Bilad al-Sham comes to have a debate with the Imam. Also, another thing that the Imam focused on was debating, and also within it is a whole art form that the Imam taught, and many people don't focus on this. Imam Al-Sadiq taught the art of debating. He would give pointers to his students that you are good in this aspect of debating, but improve in this aspect. There's an art to debating. Not anyone can come and debate. But anyways, a man from Bilad al-Sham comes to debate the Imam. What does he say? The man comes in, the Imam tells him, sit down. He welcomes him, he sits him down. He says, what do you want? The guy says, قال بلغني أنك عالم بكل ما تسأل عنه فصرت إليك لأناظرك. They say that you are a man in whatever field you are asked, you have an answer for. So I came here to debate you. I want to debate and I want to see if this is true. فقال أبو عبد الله عليه السلام في ماذا? Okay, you want to debate. What? What's your topic that you want to talk about? Also, like in the art form of debate, that pick a topic. When you want to start a debate with someone, focus on a topic and go from there. So the guy tells him, في القرآن وقطعه وإسكانه وخفضه ونصبه ورفعه. Knowledge of the Quran, he wants to debate about Quran. What does Imam Al-Sadiq say? فقال أبو عبد الله عليه السلام يا حمران دونك الرجل. He sends his student, Hamran. He tells him, go debate with the man. The man looks at the Imam. He says, إنما أريدك أنت لا حمران. I came all the way from Bilad al-Sham. I came here to debate you, not Hamran. They're going to ask me, they say, did you debate Imam Al-Sadiq? I'm going to tell them, no, he chucked Hamran on me. The Imam says, فقال أبو عبد الله عليه السلام إن غلبت حمران فقد غلبتني. If you beat Hamran, then you have beat me. Look at how much the Imam trusts his students. Usually, if you have a student, for example, and someone says, do you have that much trust in him that if I beat him in something, that means I beat you? If I had a student, I'd be like, no, relax. When you beat me, then you beat me. But the Imam says, if you beat Hamran in this debate, then you have beaten me. Have the debate with Hamran. And then فأقبل الشامي يسأل حمران حتى ضجر ومل وعرض وحمران يجيبه. The man would come and he would ask Hamran, he would ask, and Hamran would answer and answer and answer. فقال أبو عبد الله عليه السلام كيف رأيت يا شامي? What do you think of my student, O Shami? The man tells him, he says, رأيته حاذقا ما سألته عن شيء إلا أجابني فيه. I find everything that I ask him in regards to the Quran, he has an answer for. In everything. And then after a while, the debate continues, but this time Hamran asks the Shami man. And then it says at the end, فَمَا تَرَكَهُ يَكْشُرُ, in the meaning that he lost. He felt this defeat by Hamran. فقال الشامي أرأيت يا أبا عبد الله أناظرك في العربية. We just finished with Quran. Now I want to debate you with the language, linguistics, the Arabic language. فالتفت أبو عبد الله عليه السلام فقال يا أبان ابن تغلب ناظر. Another student of the Imam, Aban ibn Taghlib. He says, oh, Aban, go. Do this debate in what? Linguistics, in the Arabic language. فناظره فما ترك الشامي يكشر. He also lost the Shami against Aban ibn Taghlib. And then the Shami man continues. He says, قال أريد أن أناظرك في الفقه. Now I want to debate with you in Islamic law, jurisprudence. We all know who jurisprudence is for. فقال أبو عبد الله عليه السلام يا زرارة ناظره. Now it's Zurara's turn. Oh Zurara, finish the debate. And we all know Zurara's status. So Zurara sits there and debates with him. فما ترك الشامي يكشر. He also lost. And then the Shami turns and he says أريد أن أناظرك في الكلام. Basically عقائد, belief, توحيد, نبوة, so on and so forth. فقال Imam Al-Sadiq says يا مؤمن الطاق ناظره. he said in the beginning, if you defeat this student of mine, you have defeated me. The uttermost trust the Imam has upon his students shows how much the Imam worked into raising them, into embedding them with this knowledge. This isn't just your average once a week I attend the Hussaineyat and I listen to the lecturer. This is every day. Questions and answers and reading and writing. To the point where the Imam trusts them to this point. Where are we from gaining the knowledge of Imam AlSadiq? Where are we from gaining the knowledge of Imam AlSadiq? فناظره فسجل الكلام بينهما ثم تكلم مؤمن الطاق بكلامه فغلبه به. They had a long debate and Mu'min al-Taq also defeated him in Aqa'id. And this Shami doesn't stop. I respect that to a degree that he didn't give up. فقال أريد أن أناظرك في الاستطاعة. Also another field of knowledge. So then the Imam says, فقال للطيار كلمه فيها. Another one of his students. And they have the debate and so on and so forth. And then he says, فقال أريد أن أتكلم في الإمامة. And then he sends forth Hisham ibn al-Hakam, كلمه يا أبا الحكم. And to the point where several of his students had a debate with this Shami person. فكلمه فما تركه يرتم ولا يحلي ولا يمر. He started stuttering, this Shami man. He didn't know left from right and top from bottom. And then the hadith says فبقي يضحك أبو عبد الله عليه السلام حتى بدت نواجده. The Imam smiled to the point where the upper part of his teeth showed. He didn't smile ridiculing the man, no. He smiled because it was an opportunity for the Imam to show the people who his students are. Who are these people? These are 4 or 5 out of the 4,000 that the Imam has taught and raised with his own hands. Who is Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq? So we notice this culture that the Imam focuses on. But unfortunately, like I said, this aspect of the Imam has been buried. No one mentions this. I've mentioned this before. Nowadays, when in the West and in the normal culture, when we think about someone who is knowledgeable, we go to who? Einstein and those examples of people. When we go and we think about humanitarian work, we think of Gandhi. When we go and we think about bravery and standing against injustice, we think about Castro and so on and so forth. Why are the Imams not the ones that are thought about straight away? Why? When they are the ones that taught those who are pioneers in every field of science that we look at today. There was a committee in Strasbourg made by 20 different professors in their own field. 20. I have counted them personally. 20 professors held a committee in Strasbourg regarding Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq alayhi salam, saying, who is this man? Non-Muslims, huh? Each one in the field of philosophy, in the field of biology, in the field of chemistry, in the field of science, in the field of medicine. They held a committee and they sat down and they were like, who is Imam al-Sadiq? Who is this person? And this committee ended up being a book. And the book's name is called Imam al-Sadiq by the professors of the West. You can find the book, go read it. Go read it. See what they say about Imam al-Sadiq. What they learnt about Imam al-Sadiq. These are non-Muslims and they held committees. Professors held committees talking about Imam al-Sadiq. What have we done for Imam al-Sadiq? That's why I have to stress that events like this should be a day, not a day, a week, a month, where we are consistently creating awareness for Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq. Someone who taught the pioneers of the field of alchemy, the field of the sciences, the field of geology, of history, physics, all of this. He isn't mentioned. And those who mention him are professors who are not even Shi'i. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That the non-Shia are mentioning Imam Al-Sadiq more than us. Well and truly, that's embarrassing. So we come and we look at a few of the students of the Imam, and I will end on this inshallah. People who were pioneers in their own fields of sciences. Student number one, Jabir ibn Hayyan. Jabir ibn Hayyan was one of the students of the Imam, and it says here in the National Institutes of Health, Jabir is credited with the introduction of experimental methodology. Anything now, when they create medicine, Panadol, all the medicines that you see, they follow an experimental methodology, a process into creating the experiment or going about on the experiment. This was created by Jabir ibn Hayyan. These medicines that you see today all followed the same methodology of experiments that Jabir ibn Hayyan, the student of Imam Al-Sadiq, created. Experimental methodology in alchemy and the invention of several chemical processes used in modern chemistry. He invented these processes. Other achievements included preparation of various materials, development of steel, dyeing of cloth and tanning of leather, varnishing of waterproof cloth, use of magnesium dioxide in glass making, prevention of rusting, and more other things related to what? Chemistry. And we have in our ahadith, the Imam would sometimes order him. He tells him, Jabir, I want you to make for me paper that doesn't burn. Jabir ibn Hayyan goes and makes it for him. The Imam teaches him how to make it. That's Jabir ibn Hayyan. Number two, Abu Rayhan al-Biruni. This man also, it is said that he learnt from Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And within his own right, he has his own things that he's included into the different sciences, of them astronomy. Al-Biruni discovered the mathematical methods to find the distance between the sun, earth, moon, and help of old astrolabels. To help determine the distances from the sun and the moon and the earth. This was by this man who was a student of Imam Al-Sadiq. His inclusions in geography. Al-Biruni has written many books on geography and described locations of minerals, landmarks, people, culture, ancient nations, and Earth's shape. He founded the way to measure the distances of the Earth's surface. And we have in the hadith of Imam Al-Sadiq where he describes to him, where he says that geographically those different people are in different locations where they will have different ways of life and different akhlaq, and when they will have different bodies because of where they live. This was all by Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam. In mathematics, Al-Biruni has described new methods. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Al-Biruni has described new methods and refined the existing work on trigonometry in his treatise on trigonometry. Trigonometry up until the Muslim era was not refined. Mathematics was not a refined science. Up until the Muslims came, of them Al-Biruni, who came and refined trigonometry. This is all by Ja'far ibn Muhammad. Go look at Imam Ali alayhi salam as well. Go look at his ahadith on mathematics. You will find things that will boggle your brain. How a man 1,400 years ago had this knowledge. And then you have Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khawarizmi. Also learned from Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam. His main aspect is algorithms. The concept of algorithms was first given by Al-Khawarizmi to solve certain problems in defined steps of calculations. But today, what are algorithms used for? Computers. Computers, laptops, all of these electronics and these electronic devices and this electronic world and AI and all of this, they are algorithms. These algorithms were developed by Al-Khawarizmi. This phone that I have, this laptop that you have, this TV that you see, algorithms by Al-Khawarizmi, the student of who? Imam Ja'far Al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Who do you think you are speaking of? That's why I say Imam Sadiq is oppressed. We mention him once a year in his istishhad. And we don't mention him again. But all we know to do is take the knowledge from him and never mention him. قال الصادق قال الباقر قال الصادق قال الباقر. Who are those two? Look at what they built. Look at what their students built and the students of their students. That the modern Western civilization has built itself upon the discoveries and the inventions of the students of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. That's why I say we have to spread awareness about Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq. These civilizations wouldn't be here, wouldn't develop without the knowledge of Imam al-Sadiq and the knowledge that he spread across to the people. Let's spread this. Let's create awareness for this. For this Imam who's oppressed. Within us, he is oppressed. Sayyid Kadhim al-Qazwini, the person who writes Min al-Mahdi ila al-Lahd, Amir al-Mu'mineen Min al-Mahdi ila al-Lahd, the biographies of the Imams, he made a series of books about Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Up until now, it's being printed. He died in the 90s, but up until now, it's still being printed. So far, they've printed about 44 books. And it is estimated, because after the 45th book, he will start mentioning the tafsir of the Quran by Imam al-Sadiq. The narrations of Imam al-Sadiq about tafsir al-Quran. And that will equal about to 60 books. And Sayyid al-Qazwini, all he done was just mention the narration. He didn't even comment. He didn't even mention anything else other than just the narration. 60 books. 60 volumes. Just the smallest percentage of what he can find. Nowadays, you have the scholars of the West, a philosopher who has the most sick and twisted mind. The most sick and twisted mind. Suggesting inappropriate connections between a child and his mother, a father and his daughter. And they make volumes about him, and they make work, and they invite people in universities and hold committees for such a perverted man. But Ja'far ibn Muhammad, us, his Shia, his people, we're not creating awareness for him. Why? We have of our Shia, we have university students. Why aren't we building something for this? When you go and you do your masters, you do your PhD, why isn't your thesis about Ja'far ibn Muhammad? Why? When this Imam gave the knowledge that this civilization is built upon. Another example, and I will end inshaAllah, or continuing on Al-Khawarizmi, his improvements on the sundials. Sundials tell you the time, but they were very foggy in its accuracy. Al-Khawarizmi came and he refined that to a point where you could accurately tell the time through a sundial. And through the sundial, they started to make watches and clocks and so on and so forth. And another concept that he invented was the decimal system. The decimal system. Al-Khawarizmi was the first to introduce the decimal system for representing numbers. He introduced the concept of zero and explained this numbering system in his book that he writes, Kitab al-Fusul, by Al-Khawarizmi. The decimal system, the zeros that you see in your bank account because you're broke, or there's a one before it and you're rich, inshallah. Al-Khawarizmi made sure that these people have that knowledge. And his teachers, Ja'far ibn Muhammad. It is not blamed by when Aba Zur'a, the man who the Sunnis regard as a very trustworthy person when it comes to valuing the people of narration. When it comes to me, I want to value a chain of narration. That's their knowledge. That's their field of knowledge. I want to value a chain of narration. I look at the men in the chain of narration. This man, they would go to him and they would tell him, is this man in the chain a thiqah or not? If this man, Abu Zur'a, doesn't mention him, then most of the Sunnis and their ideology and their way of extracting the ahadith, if Abu Zur'a doesn't say this man is trustworthy, they don't take the hadith. Full stop. And they trust him to that level and that high of a degree that whatever he says, that's it. This man, he says in his book, that Ibn Abi Hatim narrates that Abu Zur'a said, سمعت أبا زرعة وسئل عن جعفر بن محمد عن أبيه وسهيل عن أبيه والعلاء عن أبيه أيها أصح. That he mentioned a couple of people who were fuqaha in their time. Obviously for us Imam Sadiq is our Imam, but they consider them scholars. Who of them is best? Or who of them is more correct or more accurate? قال لا يقرن جعفر إلى هؤلاء. Who are you comparing these people? You comparing them to Ja'far? Ja'far ibn Muhammad? He said, you don't make comparisons like that. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. You make comparisons. Knowledgeable people, all right. But Ja'far ibn Muhammad, he said, don't make comparison with him. وسمعت أبا حاتم يقول جعفر لا يسأل عن مثله. You don't ask who's the equal of Ja'far, because you won't find people from other schools of thought pay their respects to Imam Al-Sadiq and cannot deny the knowledge of Imam Al-Sadiq. People in the West pay their respects to Imam Al-Sadiq. If it's not by knowing him, by the systems that they use, which is thanks to the students of Ja'far ibn Muhammad Al-Sadiq. What are we doing to spread the awareness of Ja'far ibn Muhammad Al-Sadiq? Inshallah, today's lecture will become a reminder for the mu'mineen and the mu'minat to both create this culture of learning, integrate knowledge and gaining knowledge or teaching knowledge in your daily lives. Just because it is not a university degree anymore, just because you finished Arabic school when you were young, doesn't mean you let go of the culture of learning. Always integrating that within your society. اللهم عجل وليك الفرج والعافية والنصر واجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه ومن شيعته ومحبيه